is incredibly depressing.
Yeah, but that's
amazing.
That's what Lance does best.
Yeah. It's one of those ones that you sort of go as an actor, you know, those sort of things you take to show, like, I mean, a message. You know, you got something to say. I think they did a great job. It's fun following it up. All right.
Have fun.
Yeah, exactly. Lance was on the plane. We're on the plane. Sorry, you want to?
No, don't do it.
Hi. I was on the plane with Lance on the way here, and he, I'm like, I have my little iPhone. I use the Kindle to read because I don't have any. I never carry books anymore. I only carry a little Kindle on the iPhone, and so I was complaining that you can't use the beginning when you first start the flight. When you first take off, you're not allowed to use the Kindle, right? So I put it away. He goes, yeah, read this, and puts down this massive manuscript for his autobiography. And at first I'm like, great. Like, you know, I got the robot from Alien book here. So I sit down, I start reading, and I was hooked in, like, I swear, this is a book to get. What am I, like, I'm here just to promote Lance's stuff, you know. But it's amazing, like, he's the stuff, like, his life, I mean, he didn't read till he was 30, you know. It was just, yeah, it's really, really, really fun stuff. So I read the first, like, 20 pages of that, and then he was hitting on the flight attendant, so it was more fun to watch that. But, you know, it was, yeah, interesting guy. That's why I love these things. I love these kind of things because you meet these people who are, like, you know, like a part of your childhood. Like, that's like, I mean, Aliens. I grew up with Aliens. I grew up, you know, with, you know, All the Right Stuff and all these amazing things. And it's what's just so great to come to these things and meet these strange and wonderful people who then set you up for those movies. You know? Hey, do you guys want to say any questions or anything you want to answer? Or anything you want to hear about? Or yes?
How much fun did you have running around in the mud on Adults Breakfast?
My wife was very worried about the possibility of children. After laying naked on the, she had people. This is movie Dog Breakfast, which is a film that's my first directing gig, basically. I gave myself, and my wife produced it. But there's a scene where I'm lying in the mud, naked, with Paul McGillian dressed as a woman. Got to see the movie for it to make sense. But and I come outside to shoot the scene, and I sort of forgotten, like, I'd written the script and you know, and then we got to shoot it. I'm like, oh God, I'm the guy who's got to lie in the mud, naked. And it's like November in Vancouver, and it's cold and wet. And I come outside, and my wife is directing the crew with these giant butane torches, heating up the ground, but only in the area of my crotch. Because she's like, I'm having children. I'm not risking the possibility of children with your bits in a cold, muddy puddle. So, you know, so I had a nice little warm, you know, picking berries. There, you know.
Chris Judd from that movie. How did you work out what's the role for him in that movie? Because he's hilarious in that movie.
Well, Chris is first off one of the funniest. Like, he's absolutely hilarious, mad and hilarious. He's like, I say about him, he's like, there's some people who walk into a room and there's like a light. You know what I mean? It's like you can't miss him. You can't, you know. It's just he's just this fantastic personality. Rainbow's like that as well. Same thing. Rainbow walks into a bar. Sounds like a big joke. Rainbow walks into a bar, and everybody just right away loves him, wants to know him, wants to, you know. I'm the grumpy guy. But you know, but Chris was originally I had this idea for this, like, a loser who couldn't get a date, and I was like looking at losers who couldn't get a date. You know, that was sort of the way I was going with casting. And then my wife said, "What about Chris Judd?" I'm like, "Yeah, as a loser who can't get a date, I mean, that guy's got laid more than like the planet, and certainly his own mind anyway." And he's still convinced he's slept with my wife, but that's another story. They knew each other before Stargate. And he always goes, "Hello, Jane," and she's like, "Hello." We didn't, right? Yes, my dear, I'm sure we didn't. Anyways, she mentioned him, and I was like, "You're nuts! Like, it's like so wrong." And then I was like, "Wait a second, funny." So we did a read-through, and I had one little tiny scene for him originally, and we did the read-through. And he was so, like, he's the funniest thing in it. In the read-through, he just blew it out of the water. And I was a little nervous because I knew Chris, and I worked with Chris, and, you know, I was like, what's he like to, you know, does he show up? I mean, you know, because he's such a personality. You're sort of like a little nervous about, you know, and I hear tales of having the odd beverage once in a while and stuff. So I thought, like, this is going to be cool. And everyone's like, no, he's like a consummate professional. You got nothing to worry about. He showed up on set. He showed up at the read-through. Did this scene so beautifully. I wrote like 3 other scenes for him. I mean, like, I want to write the entire thing about him. He was just so, because you never see him like that. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, indeed. That's, you know, and he's so beyond indeed. You know, so I would put him in anything I possibly could. Like, he's just amazing.
Without bodily functions in it.
Yes, without. Although he's probably good at that too. From the sound of it. I've heard stories. Everyone gets waits into an elevator with me at a convention. Goes, oh, we heard the story about Chris Judd. I'm like, yes, in the elevator, yes. He has a tendency to let loose in elevators, apparently, in small confined spaces. Yes. You didn't watch the movie, did you? You did watch the movie? Oh my, you didn't know what was going to happen. Oh, very good, very good. Because I got freaked out by that. So, anyway, sorry. You're like, yes, I have a question. No, not quickly, take your time. Do you guys need a moment? I know, there's a moment to do. We do that, we just jump in. Time out for mom.
If you were pleased, would you cooperate if someone wanted to do an episode of Doctor Who?
Oh God, what a doctor! It was like a dream. Playing a doctor, yes.
The Doctor Who?
Yeah, but playing the doctor in Doctor Who would be fine with me. Yes. No, I'm joking. But I wanted to be Doctor Who. That's how I got into acting.
Please do. Please say that.
I think like Matt. I like Matt. I got news for you. As you get older, they're all too young. Everyone's too young now. Like, you know, it's like I pull over at police. I'm like, hello, little guy. Are you pretending to be police? Okay. So, yeah, another question.
If you wanted to be one of the doctors of Doctor Who, which one is it?
Tom Baker. I grew up with Tom Baker. It was John Pertwee was who I started with. This is all so beyond you. This was like,
Tom Baker.
right. Well, the guy before Tom Baker was a guy called John Pertwee, who was kind of like a dashing doctor, very sort of scientist and all that kind of stuff. And so he's who I got into. I used to hide behind the sofa while he was being attacked by autons and stuff like that. And then Tom Baker was the guy I walked around with this scarf, got caught in the world and things. Yeah, but I gotta say, I'm a big fan of Matt Smith. I like his, you know, I also like Moffat, the way he's the guy who's writing the new series. I think he's doing a good job. So, yeah, thumbs up from me on Doctor Who, because I know they're worried about that. They're like, oh, phew, thank God, Hewlett likes it. More questions? Yes.
We were at Ryan and Chris's panel earlier on today.
I'm sorry about that. You'll never get that time back.
They mentioned a story about you getting punched in the stomach before one of your takes.
Before the show,
By Dobby?
yeah. Yes.
What's the
Oh, he
story
hit me
with
with his
that?
stomach. He threw me over the back of a thing. I was like, yeah, I got him all angry at me. He came strong. I was doing my close-up for the scene, and we'd had Dobby all week. And so I was like to here with Dobby. And, because Dobby is not a quiet man. He was babbling on about something during the take, right? And finally I was like, okay, Dobby, shut up. You can do it on your own close-up. And I hear this, what the? And then, oh, and I said, everyone's like, ooh, you want to go? I was like, no, I'll talk to him. I'm at that stage. I am a little low blood sugar enough to talk to Dobby right now. So he comes to me, he's like, what do you say? I said, you can wait till you go up and close up. And he goes, you're all right, kid. Walks off again. Everyone's just like, what? We were like best friends. And then I was like, what happened? What happened? You know? So, but he's an oddball, that guy. And I'm also a wimp. Basically, it's like, I always tell this story. I did a movie with Stephen Ray, who's this fantastic Irish actor. Irish? Did I get that right? Yes, Irish actor. God forbid I say Scottish. I had a fight scene with him, and they were telling us how to do it, and I was like, all right, well look, I'll grab you, and then you do all the moves, basically, and I'll just go like I'm doing it. So basically what it does, it allows him to have control over the fight sequence. It's just a smart way of doing it so no one gets hurt. So you hold them, they move, and it looks like you're like, you know, that they're doing all the moves. So I sort of said, like, well, look, I'll grab it, you do whatever you want, I'll just go with it. And he goes, oh, you're an actor, an actor. It's like, yeah, we've done it a couple times. He goes, no, it's good, it's good, it's good. I worked on a movie, I don't know if you know the name of it, have you ever heard of it? Called Interview with a Vampire. I was like, yeah, no, I've heard of it. And he goes, yeah, I was an actor, the young fellow I was working with, don't know if you know his name, it's Brad. Like, yeah, no, I've heard of him too. He goes, yeah, well, I was going to see with him, and what I did was, we're all getting ready for this fight sequence, and this little man comes up to me, little man, he's working for Mr. Pitt. He goes, I'm working for Mr. Pitt. It's like, very good for you. And he says, Mr. Pitt would like you to know that he'll really be fighting on this one. I went, ah, very good, very good. If you could let Mr. Pitt know that I'll really be acting on this one. And so I always try to tell whoever, because it's a long-winded story, I always try to tell whoever I'm in a fight sequence with that story, like, don't kill me. And I realize now that that's probably what Stephen Ray was doing with me. He was basically saying, like, don't kill me. And he's just amazing. He's the kind of guy who shows up at a read-through and just puts a bottle of scotch down. He's like, all right, let's do this. This bottle of scotch, everyone else is, sipping water. He's getting bigger and bigger in his performance as the read-through goes through. So, yeah, I'll start doing that. Any more questions?
I'll follow you on Twitter.
I'm sorry about that.
Actually, you're the most entertaining one on there. Out of all the different people I follow.
I think so.
It always make me laugh, especially when you're talking about Baz and all the different.
Oh, Baz
directions.
is, yeah. Baz is an inspiration.
I was just wondering about Starcross. You were talking about you've been writing on there about that.
Yeah, I was told to shut up about it by Sci-Fi, which is usually a good sign. It means they're trying to do something with it. We're basically they've not said anything other than I'm writing some stuff right now, and we're hoping to. Let's just say it's looking pretty good right now. Yeah, and the idea behind Starcross is basically in A Dog's Breakfast there were these elements where I basically took the Mickey out of Stargate in a nice, respectful way, I think. And it's just fun to make Rachel say that stuff. And so we basically pitched them ages ago on a pilot that would be a half-hour, basically a 30 Rock meets Galaxy Quest was the pitch. And so they quite like that. And I worked on that for a couple of years. It drove me crazy because all it takes forever. You're like, just make it! Developing, just make it! Because I'm used to you write it, you shoot it. It's not that all this what if? Oh, screw what if, just make it. So they basically now said that we should try doing it as a web thing, as a web-based thing. And because they feel that that's a good way to sort of pilot it, they can sort of test it and see how people react to it. If they like it, then it make it work moving to TV. So, and also that's just a so exciting way of doing things for me now. Is like, with these cameras, all these cameras that are available, you can, there's no excuse not to make your own stuff. Like really, and I think as an actor, it used to be where you go in, you audition, you practice your craft, and you get given parts, and some you get, some you don't. Now you have to do everything. Now I think we're turning the sort of the golden age of film where where you have to be the writer, producer, director, cinematographer. You just basically have to do it all again now. And I love that because I hate sitting around doing nothing, which doesn't happen now that I have that. But that's the deal on Starcross right now. So it's kind of exciting. I really hope it. Basically, I think what I'm going to do is just plow on with it, and hopefully Sci-Fi will support it. They've always liked it. It just seems like such a no-brainer to me. It's 30 Rock, it's Galaxy Quest. They seem like two things that I enjoy very much, and other people seem to as well. So, and it's just, I just love. If I had my own way, I think I would just do the Starcross part, none of the real stuff. Just shoot Starcross because I just love the silliness of the whole, may our transmitter beams, who's it back in word? I forgot my own lines. Cross again, my golden stranger. Yeah, that kind of, I just love those kind of ridiculous lines that you end up having to say in science fiction. Yes?
You've had unfortunate times of working with some beautiful women.
Isn't it hell?
I know you
You mean
mentioned,
they've had a pleasant time working with me?
and you mentioned once or twice about lightning and tapping.
Oh, yes.
I was wondering if you could talk about your experience with there and other beautiful women.
Yeah, beautiful women are drawn to me. Amanda was, I give Amanda credit for